stolen goods.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like, okay, well, clearly, cable guy put him up to this. And so he goes to jail, and it's the most stereotypical "we're gonna rape you" jail.
Yeah.
Apparently, he went to rape Quentin. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where everyone's just like, "I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you." I'm like, I don't think every prisoner is like that.
Well, I like before that we finally see his dad. We see George Siegel. Like, are you on the pod?
Of course, he
and
has
they're
to
like,
say that.
You took goods and you didn't ask where they were from.
And he's just like, well, it was the cable guy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he just said it was a gift. Which is what I have a major complaint about, but we'll get to that in a minute.
His dad and his lawyer basically like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, like, how stupid can you be?
So we can't get a bail hearing, so you're going to have to spend the weekend in county lockup, and that's when we get to him, and then, you got a pretty mouth, boy, and all that stuff.
It's like, you're getting raped. Apparently he doesn't get raped, but he does get out.
Well, he gets visited in jail by Chip.
You're right.
Using another name, Larry Stevens or whatever. I can't remember.
Larry Tate. Because he asked him, like, what's your name? Larry Tate, but we'll get to that. It doesn't matter.
Another TV reference. And basically, like, this is your fault, Steven. I'm not the reason why you're in here. You're the reason.
And it's like, why'd you do this to me? It's like, no, why'd you do this? Like, you did this to yourself. You screwed you.
And it's crazy because he's like, this is the guy who framed me. And then he knows the guy.
And he's like, hey, Barney, how you doing? How's that sports package?
Like, I'm like, this guy's more connected in this city than the mob.
Yeah. Well,
the whole town's getting free cable from this weirdo.
To be fair,
you
control the cable, you control everything, because everybody needed cable back then.
Jesus. Then he does the fucking, like, I'm here for you, Steven, puts his hand on the thing.
Yeah, he's like, just to contact, and then he, like, goes, I know what you want, and he starts unbuttoning his shirt, and he's like, what are you doing? You're gonna get me killed! And then he just puts his nipple up to the glass, like, oh, Billy... I'm here for you, and then of course the dude next to him, is just starts kissy faces at him, like, you're gonna die.
Oh Jesus, you really are.
You are getting so raped.
And he gets out on bail. Goes to apologize to Rick, and Rick's like, Rick, I'm out on bail.
And then Rick goes, yeah, all right.
Yeah, okay, I'll help you. I'll look
and
into
he's
it.
Like, all right, I'll have my guy in research look. I'm guessing he works at a TV studio.
Yeah,
because
every time we see Rick, he's always got some sort of TV camera with him. He's in a studio, so he's probably a cameraman. So Steve and Robin are going to his parents' place.
This is the scene that should have taken place before he got arrested. Because they open the door, and Chip's standing there.
And there's Mr. fucking Rogers.
Yeah. The cable guy, Chip, is standing there, and he's
dressed like Mr.
Rogers. And he's just like, oh, Steven, it's great to see you, and everything like that. And his family's accepting this guy, and everything's cool. Motherfucker, Steven just said that this is the guy who framed me.
Yeah.
Why is he in the house?
Well, here's the thing. My guess is that Chip is good enough to manipulate people to where his parents and his brother and everyone else at the dinner party would be like, well, Steven, you're obviously the problem, not Chip. Because he's good at manipulating people.
True, but I look at it
we should have seen the conversation with
I think so. If that was how it was going to go.
Of like him explaining, like, well, Steven's just had a little bit of trouble recently. Because they're implied that the parents don't really talk to Steven all that much.
Clearly,
like,
but at the same time...
There's a reason why he hasn't talked to you.
But literally, it looks as though, like, only 3 days ago he was blaming the cable guy for this. Like, I don't care how manipulative it is, you are going to believe your son first, I would think.
Well, we don't know. We don't know the relationship.
That's true. That's true, but I'm looking at it going...
They're obviously not close, because you never call your mother and all that.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's every fucking movie in the history of movies. You never call your mother. Hell, I used to talk to my mother all the time, and then my dad still told me to call my mother. So, that doesn't make any sense. But I think that's... I do think it's just a little bit weird. I think you're right. Maybe we should have need to see the conversation between them, or...
Because why is Chip there dressed like Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
How does he know? Although he has a rapport, I'm guessing, over the weekend where he was in county.
Absolutely,
he grew more of a rapport with Robin.
Certainly,
and through Robin, he got a rapport with Steven's parents.
No, I would assume that would be. I would assume that would be the case, but I would still think that
he worked quick.
Yeah,
I would still think he worked quick getting into this guy's life deeper, where Steven couldn't stop him because Steven had no contact.
It just still seems very odd that the parents would put the two together, no matter how manipulative the guy is.
This is where we get Bob Odenkirk for no reason.
Who's just there
playing Steven's brother.
Other than he's friends, and it's like, yeah, do you want to roll in a movie? I'll get you, a couple $100.
They play porno password,
which also bugs me because I'm like, they're so mad at Steven because they're thinking that he doesn't want to say it because he's like, oh,
because he's partnered with his mom.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But they're like, your mom can handle it. It's like, it's not, he doesn't want to say it in front of his mom. It's not that she can't handle it. It's he doesn't want to say it. Why do you people not understand this? And I'm freaking out. I get uncomfortable for him.
Well, we get through the whole thing, and then we get to the end where he's freaking out. Like, you people don't understand. You don't know what this guy is. You don't know who he is. He's deranged. He's sick. But, of course, the way he's ranting and raving like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And Chip
treats it like an intervention.
Not only dressed like Mr. Rogers, but acting like Mr. Rogers. Like, Steven, this is a safe place. You know,
we all love you, right?
Love you.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, Jesus.
Or it's like, wow, this guy really is integrated. Are you sure he's not? He's like, you're now my favorite son, Chip.
Yeah, really.
Like, Jesus. To the point where he fucking socks him after he mentions, like, nobody. This is what I don't get when, because he goes right in close to his ear again, like he was going through past where he's like, mentions Robin's birthmark, and then
he did it right before he punched him. Yeah, so it wasn't even during password. It was right when after he'd started raving. What I'm
saying is, he like sticks his tongue out, going. I'm like the family.
You
didn't
can see that.
Yeah, the family didn't seem to really with his tongue.
Yeah,
and then he just socks someone, and he's like, "Okay, I'll just go. I guess."
I'll just go. I'll be okay. I just hope my neurologist agrees. And he fucking feigns being dizzy and then walks out. And then she just goes, "Steven, you're an asshole." I'm like, "No, he's not. You're all insane."
So Chip leaves a little present with Steven at work, and it's the image of him, or the video of him talking bad
he's
about
put it
his
on
boss.
Everybody's computer.
And this is where they play more human than human.
Yes. And he somehow gets fired for this.
Yep, because his boss sees it, and because he mentions his hair plugs, and his boss reaches for his hair.
Now, you can fire the guy for getting arrested at work. You absolutely can.
Yep.
You cannot fire him for this leaked video of him bad-mouthing his boss. You cannot. Legally, you could not fire somebody for that.
Probably not.
Yeah. He would have a massive lawsuit on his hands.
No. Either way, you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
Him in the parking lot, he hears Chip.
Yeah.
All the cars go off at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then he runs to his car and gets out of there.
And that's the question. Is that really happening, or is he just going nuts?
That's what I like. I like is Chip actually there, or are all those cars going off, or is Steven literally just losing his mind?
Yeah. Either one works.
Rick calls Steve and basically goes, "Yeah, this guy's been fired."
Yeah, he's
every cable company.
Yeah, and he's just like all these different names. He's like, at one point in time, he called himself the Big Ragu, and then he explained. Then Steven messages what it
Laverne and Shirley reference.
Like
the
Laverne
and
Shirley.
Sad that you know that.
Yeah, he's like George Jetson, and I'm like, nobody at the cable company knew what a George Jetson was.
Also, my legal name is George Jetson.
Fuck you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's where I think, other than him getting impaled at the end of the movie, where this movie could have taken a dark turn. Mm-hmm. Like, right after this conversation, because it's like, oh, Rick's on to Chip.
Yeah.
If Chip would have killed Rick off screen.
That would have been good. Yeah, that would have worked.
So I think that, like, I'm not saying do it. They should have done it. But if you really wanted to make it
if you wanted to go dark, you could have it also.
Like, he's going to call the station and look for Rick. It's like,
well, yeah, because what you
Rick
could have
died like yesterday. Yeah. It was some sort of like car accident.
Like literally when he says something along the lines of like, like where he's just like Larry, like, who's his boss? Larry Tate. And then he hangs up the phone. And then literally as he hangs up the phone, you could have a shot of, like, Rick smiling, and then he looks over and fucking Chip standing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought about it. So we get more of the case on the TV, and then we get Steve having a nightmare.
Yes.
Where his first encounter with Chip, like, cable guy. And it's a nightmare, so everything's dark.
I do enjoy the cartwheel to kick the door.
He looks through the thing. He's doing a cartwheel. He's hammering the door. He runs into its shoulder first and goes, "Ow!" because he hurt himself. I like that even in the nightmare, he's a big goofball.
Yeah.
And it's lit kind of like neon lighting.
Yeah. And then he starts chasing him down. He's like,
Jim Carrey's got demon eyes.
Yeah, Steven, I just want to hang out. No big deal.
And then he like tackles him and he's like, "No!" And then the camera like runs right into Steven's face. And then he wakes up. He's like, "Oh God, Jesus."
Yeah.
And then Chip calls Steve and basically implies that he is Robin.
Yeah.
Because he goes to get Robin, and then I guess one of her neighbors, like, she left with the cable guy. They're gone.
He's like, did they say where they go? He mentioned something about the information highway. And he's just like, I know where that is. I'm going to go and go by myself, because that makes sense.
Now, Robin.
And somehow I'm faster than the police, but okay.
I get that at this point you're still, I guess, kind of friends with Chip.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you agreeing to go see a big giant satellite?
Well,
It is pouring rain.
The implication from the deleted scene is that she was already being held hostage, but
like he had a weapon of some sort.
But I think that's negated by the fact that in the first scene where he's doing the whole spiel about the friend in Vietnam, she just says, "Okay, can we go now? I want to go see Steven."
Also, it is pouring rain.
Yeah.
And we are standing in a giant bowl.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure how all of that works.
Yeah.
I also think that's very strange positioning of the satellite dish to be there as a rain catcher.
Wouldn't everyone's cable be out at this point?
You would think.
So Steven versus Chip Part 2. Because he gets up there, he's going to save Robin, and they do battle again.
Yes.
And like he punches Chip so hard, he fixes his list.
Like, Steven!
Javen! And then he hits him again. He's like,
"You son of a bitch!" By the way, that was improvised.
Was it?
The whole thing. Yeah. By both of them. So, like, he hit him and then he just did that. And then it occurred to him, and he was like, "I should hit him again." And he did it. And that's when he was just like, "You son of a bitch."
List back.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as he wakes up from being knocked out headbutt style, he's already got Robin going up to the tippity top of the satellite.
Yeah.
And he's like, the bad thing about real life is that there's no danger music. Dun, 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 and he just creates danger music.
And again, they're playing the music as well. It's genius.
Gets her up to the top.
Steven does like a Spider-Man jump. He's like, "Wow, well done, Spider-Man."
It's like, "Wow, good job, Spider-Man."
And he slowly climbs up.
He's got a staple gun. He just shoots him a couple shots.
And then he holds the staple gun to Robin's head.
It's a gun.
And that's supposed to be scary. I'm like, the best that's going to do is kind of hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
why are we so worried about this? But he is.
So ultimately, Steve saves Robin. Chip has this whole big speech.
Yeah, about how he just wanted a friend.
The cops have now come.
Like,
There's a helicopter.
Steven called the fuzz.
Yeah. So the light's on him, and he just basically he's now monologuing towards his mother.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because at first he tells me, he's like, "Look, there's clearly nowhere to go," and that's where sort of he breaks down, where he's like, "Well, clearly I'm caught. I'm done." So he kind of gives Robin back.
Yeah, and then he
just starts talking to his mother because he's talking into the white light as if it's his mother.
Yeah, it's like, you never cared. You never, you never wanted, all I wanted was a brother.
I'm the bastard son of, who was it? Some TV mother in Claire Huxtable. And then,
I'm the lost Cunningham!
I learned the facts of life from watching the facts of life. And then he basically is just like, "Okay, well, I know what I have to do now."
He's going to jump.
And he goes to jump, and Steven's like, "No, you can't do this. Like,
we can
work this out. We'll go get a Heineken. I'm not thirsty anymore."
Yeah.
And then he just goes, "See ya," and he just jumps off.
Yeah, because he's like, what is it? Somebody's got to kill the babysitter.
No, that's after. He does that when he's holding on to him. He literally pulls him up and says that. That's one of my favorite lines as well. So he's got a hold of him. He's like, "Come on, you'll be fine. We'll get you some help. You'll be okay." As he's literally dangling. Like, Steven catches him and he's dangling off, and he's just like, "Come on." And that's when he just like, "You don't understand. Like, this is it for me." And that's when he pulls up and he just goes, "Someone's got to kill the babysitter." And then he flips himself off
because he's basically implying like, "I got to kill Cable."
Yeah, he's like, it's got to be over.
It's got to be over. Like, all this nonsense has to end.
Yeah, it all has to end.
So as he's falling, we see a bunch of people that have been throughout the film watching because the verdict has come in for the
Kyle
sweet
Gass.
case and Kyle Gass. And then as soon as the verdict is, and then everything goes fuzz and people are hitting the TV. I love his dad's like hitting TV. Help!
And fucking Andy Dick just goes, "Huh? Preferred customer, my ass."
Yeah. I think it's if you look over his shoulder to his right.
Yeah.
I think one of the knights is one of the Sandler guys.
Oh, I'm not surprised. They must run in the same packs.
Yeah, I could have swore it was one of the Sandler
I would
guys.
assume, yeah.
One of his crew. And everyone's pissed. And I think Kyle Gass looks at a book.
Looks over and sees a book, opens it up halfway through, and then starts reading them. And it's like, "Oh, I remember reading." I'm like, the book was right there, and you opened it halfway through. You've clearly read some of this before.
Yeah. And then we see, he didn't kill himself. He came real close.
He was going to impale. He was going to be impaled, but he wasn't.
And then he just does like a whole mash thing, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a medical drama thing.